Hi, it's me Hushi, and I don't know what time you're listening to this, but yeah, this feels like one of those late night thoughts. So I've been thinking about this for a while now. Why do we miss people even when we know we don't want them back? Like, seriously, you can be completely sure about it. Like, you don't want to go back to that situation, you don't want that relationship again, but still, you think about them out of nowhere while doing something random or right before sleeping. And it's not even dramatic, it's just a soft thought. And you're like, what is this? Why am I still feeling this? And then your brain goes like, do I still love them? Did I move on too fast? Was it actually that bad? And the worst part is, nothing feels wrong enough to hate them, but nothing feels right enough to go back either. So you're just stuck in that weird space where you miss them, but you don't want them. And I think we don't really talk about this enough. Like, I was trying to understand this the other day because it doesn't make sense, right? If I don't want them back, then why do I still miss them sometimes? And I think it's not really about the person, it's about what they became in your life. Because when someone is there for a while, they become a part of your routine. You get used to texting them, telling them about random things, or just being there. And then suddenly, they are not. So your life moves on. But your mind still reaches for them out of habit. Like your brain hasn't caught up yet. It's like, oh, tell them this, they would have liked this, and then you remember that you don't talk anymore. By the way, this line reminded me of that song. We don't talk anymore. We don't talk anymore like we used to do. Very random, but yeah. Okay, now let's move on to what we were talking about. And that moment, that small, quiet moment, that's what we call missing them. But it's not always love. Sometimes it's just memory, comfort, or your emotional muscle memory. Like your heart is used to feeling something in that space, and now it's empty. So it keeps going back there. And the confusing part is, you can miss all of that and still know going back is not right for you. And I think this is where we confuse ourselves the most. Just because you miss someone doesn't mean you want them back. Those are two very different things. But when you are in it, it feels the same. Because your mind only remembers the parts that felt good. It doesn't sit there replaying the uncomfortable moments, the confusion, the things that didn't feel right. It remembers the late night talks, the way they made you feel, the way they made you laugh, and how easy it felt sometimes. And your brain suddenly goes, see, it wasn't that bad. But you didn't leave for no reason. Something didn't sit right, didn't feel stable, did not feel enough. And you knew it then. Just because time has passed doesn't mean those things disappeared. I think what we really miss is how they made us feel in certain moments, not the full reality of being with them, because reality is bigger than a few good memories. And if you have to remind yourself again and again why it didn't work, that's your answer. You're not confused, you're just remembering selectively. And that's okay. It happens to everybody. Okay, this is now time for the part I always do here, because this is what our whole video is about. The unsent letter. The things you don't say to them, but they just stay in your head. And I don't know who you're thinking about right now, but if there is someone, just listen to this like it's yours. Hi, I was thinking about you today. Not for long, just for a bit. And it didn't hurt the way it used to. It was just there. I think that's what confuses me the most. Because I don't want this again. I don't want to go back to how things were. I remember how it felt. Trying to make it work, trying to understand you, stay when something in me already knew this wasn't right. But still, there are moments where I miss you. And I hate that a little. Not because I want you back, but because I wish it was easier to forget. I don't think I miss you as a person anymore. I think I miss how easy some days felt. And I miss having someone to tell random things to. I miss not overthinking everything. But I don't miss who I was becoming. I don't miss feeling unsure, adjusting myself all the time, that constant question in my head, is this even right for me, for you, for us? And I think that's how I know I have let you go now. Not in a dramatic way, not in a I'm completely over it way, just quietly. Like something that was once important but doesn't belong in my life anymore. And I hope you're okay. I really do. But I don't need to be the part of that anymore. And maybe that's what this is, not love, not attachment, just a memory, learning where it belongs. I don't know, I think that's it. Like, I don't really have anything more to say to you. And it's weird, right? How you can feel all of that and still know you're not going back. And I think that's what I wanted to talk about. And it is very strange how it shows up like that. You'll be doing something normal and suddenly they're there in your head. Not in a heavy way, just present for a second. And it catches you off guard because your life has moved forward. You're not in that space anymore. You're not waiting. You're not even going back. But there are still these small pieces left behind. Not questions, and they're not even, this is not even confusion, yeah, just pieces. And you don't really know what to do with them. You can't go back and give them meaning again. You can't sit and overthink every memory. So you just feel it for a moment and then it passes like it always does. And I guess that's the part that feels the most real because now nothing is dramatic, nothing is too loud, but everything is just peaceful and these quiet reminders that something existed. And now it doesn't. And honestly, it's not even about them anymore after a point. It's just these random moments, like when something good happens, and for a second you feel like telling them. And then you remember you don't do that anymore. Or when you're scrolling and you see something they would have laughed at, and your first instinct is still them. And then it just stops there and you go on with your day. Or maybe you miss them or you cry or something like anything, but life moves on. Then you reply to someone else, you do something else. Life keeps moving. But those small things, they stay for a bit. And that's the part people don't prepare you for. Moving on is not this clean switch. It's not like that you wake up one day and everything is gone. It's more like your life moves forward first and your feelings follow slowly. So if you still have those moments, if something still feels familiar sometimes, it doesn't mean you're going backwards. It just means that your mind is catching up with the life you have already stepped into. And you don't have to rush that. You don't have to force yourself to forget, to move on. You don't have to turn it into anger just to feel stronger. You can just let it be what it is. Because at the end of the day, you didn't lose yourself. You didn't stay where it wasn't right for you. You didn't ignore what you already knew. You chose to move forward, even if it didn't feel strong in the moment. And that's count for something. So, yeah, that's all for this one. If this felt relatable or if it reminded you of someone, you're not alone in this. Yeah, trust me. And if you stayed till the end, I really appreciate you for listening. You can subscribe if you want more of these. I'll keep showing up here. And I'll see you in the next one. So, till then, take care of yourself and bye. Good night.